Hello everyone, welcome to AVLSI lab number 4. In today's lab, we have to perform the analysis of common drain amplifier or a source follower circuit. So this is my common drain amplifier or source follower where my input along with the DC biasing is applied to the gate terminal and the output is taken across the source terminal and we have a resistor RS. So let's start simulating this in LT Spice directly. So let me open LT Spice window and here I'll adjust the window so that we can view it together, the LT Spice screen as well as the schematic. So let me keep it over here. So for this, we will require around one MOSFET, then one, two, three supplies, right? And a single resistor. So let's start building the circuit up. So let me minimize this a bit. I'm adjusting this window so that I can keep this open all the time. Yeah, so let's start now. So I'll go to the library and then I'll select the MOSFET. I'll select NMOS 4, right? Select NMOS 4 and then I'll place it onto the schematic. Next, I have to select the supply register we can select. So register has to be connected to the source terminal. And then we require supplies, power supplies. So for that, we have to type over here voltage. And then we can place one voltage over here. And there will be two more voltages which will be placed at the gate side. One is for the DC biasing and other is for the AC input. So let me do that. I'll add voltage. So one over here and another over here. Okay. And now I will be joining them together with the wire. So I'll take this wire and connect them together quickly. So here is one connection. And then secondly, I will be connecting to the gate, the DC biasing voltage, as well as the supply voltage. Fine. And I'm connecting them together. Here I can connect a separate ground from here. And here also we can connect a separate ground, okay, with a wire. Yeah. So the circuit schematic is ready. Now we have to put in and add in the parameters. Now the body terminal will be going to the ground for an NMOS transistor. So basically this NMOS transistor is suffering from body effect, correct? That we will observe it today. Now let me start naming it. So first of all, I will name this as M1 underscore the name. Okay, and instead of NMOS1, I will be calling it as instead of NMOS, I'll calling it as NMOS1. This is DC supply, which is called as VGG, and its value is 1.2 volt over here. This is V in supply, right? So I'll right click, go to advanced. I have to give 10 millivolt peak to peak. So I'll select sine. DC offset will be 0. Amplitude will be 5 millivolt peak because this is peak value. So it will be 10 millivolts peak to peak. Frequency will be 5 kilohertz. Okay. Frequency will be 5 kilohertz and I'll click on OK. So I have set the input voltage. This I will call it as Vin and we will have a resistor RS, right? So this is resistor RS. Next, I have to select the supply voltage. So I'll right click, call this as VDD, right? And this VDD have to be 5 volt. So this VDD is 5 volt now. And now I will check out what all things are required. So here the KP value is given, L is given, W is given, lambda is given, gamma VTO is given, right? So we'll add all those model parameters using the dot model statement. So I'll right click over here, go to draft, go to Spice directive and start writing the statement. So I'll write over here dot model NMOS NMOS1 and then the reserve word NMOS will come. Inside the bracket I'll write KP is equal to 10 micro, right? It's 10 e raised to minus 6. So I can write 10 micro or 10 e raised to minus 6. It means the same. Then I'll leave space and I'll write L, which is around 5 micrometer. Then W, which is around 10 micrometer. So this is 10 micrometer. Then I have to put lambda. So lambda value is coming out to be lambda. It's coming out to be 0.04. It is given over here. And next we will add gamma. So gamma value is 0.4. And then we have to also put the value of VTO, which is around 0.7 volts. Okay. And then we click on OK. So all these model parameters are added onto the schematic, right? Okay, so the schematic is ready and we have added the dot model statement. And let's go to the OneNote and check out what all things we have to do in this experiment. So this was the source follower circuit. We have connected it in LT-Spice. So first of all, we have to add the DC biasing. We have done that to the gate terminal along with the sinusoidal input. Next, we have to use the .op statement and run the simulation and do the DC biasing and note down the values of ID, VGS, VDS, VBS, GM and GMB, and then verify by formula. Next, we will comment the .op statement and we'll use the .trans statement to plot V in of T and V out of T. Finally, we will use the dot measure statement to note down V in peak to peak, V out peak to peak, and the voltage gain AV. And then we'll verify the voltage gain formula, voltage gain AV with the simulation and with the formula, right? And then we'll repeat steps 1 to 5 for different values of RS. So this is the observation table over here. So for lambda equal to 0.04 for M1 transistor, for different values of RS, note down the value of V out peak to peak, note down the value of voltage gain by simulation, and note down the value of voltage gain by calculation. So for sample reading, we have to take RS as 600K. So let's take RS as 600K over here and let's simulate it. And then we'll note down what all DC parameters are available. So we'll click on simulate. We'll click on run. We click on DC operating point and OK. So this will give us the DC parameters. Now we'll close this window. In order to view the result, we'll go to view and check the SPICE error log. So and as soon as you click on the SPICE error log, it will give me all the MOSFET transistor parameters, your small signal parameters along with your DC parameters. So I'll copy these parameters over here, Control C, and then I'll go over here and paste it those parameters using the comment text. So we'll add all these parameters over here like this. So these are all the DC parameters as well as the small signal parameters like GM, GDS, and GMB available over here. Next, we have to comment this out. .op. We will comment it, and we will again go to simulation, run, and then we can put the transient response as 0.4 millisecond because the frequency is around 5 kilohertz. So the time period will be 0.2 milliseconds. But here we want to observe 2 cycles. So we'll click on OK next. As we click on OK now, next, your blank screen will appear with the time axis. We have to mark input and output. So for marking the input and output, we have to do the following. So first of all, I'll take some wire from here. One wire, I will take it from here. And let me push this up. And I'll label this wire as V in. So this is V in underscore the name. And the next wire will be here because for the common drain or source follower, input is applied to the gate and output is taken from the source terminal. So we'll connect one more wire over here, and we'll actually we have to connect a capacitor also. The reason being at the source voltage, at the source terminal, we'll get a DC as well as the AC quantity. So we have to isolate the two. So hence we connect a capacitor over here, and then we'll connect it together like this. Then finally we will add the capacitor value, let's say as 10 microfarad, and this will be V out. Okay. Now V in and V out are ready, and now we'll again click on simulation, and we'll maximize this, and we'll plot V in and V out. So first I will plot V in. Next, I will plot V out. So here is V in and V out. So here you can determine the value of V out peak to peak and V in, V in peak to peak is 10 millivolt peak to peak. So V out also we can determine using the dot measure statement. So for writing the dot measure statement, we will right click over here, right? See, one way to do is we will use the cursor method. So this way it may give you accurate result, but sometimes the error in the reading might be there, right? So the more accurate method is the dot measure statement. So what we will do is we'll right click over here, we'll go to draft, we'll go to spice directive and start writing dot measure statement. So dot measure V in, and then we'll write peak to peak V in, the label we will write V in underscore the name. And then in the next statement, we do control M and we'll measure V out. So V out peak to peak will be stored in the variable V out. Peak to peak, V out underscore the name. And then in the next statement, we will use the dot measure and we have to calculate the gain directly. So gain will be equal to param. We'll write dot measure param V out divided by V in. So what this statement will do? This statement will directly calculate the value of gain, that is V out upon V in, right? And then we click on OK and paste it onto the schematic. And now if we click on OK and run again, you'll get the same plot. But now using the dot measure statement, these readings will be available in the spice error log. So once you check the spice error log, it's coming out to be failed. Let me check what's the problem. Okay, we have just put the label. We have to write V, voltage of that label. So that's the mistake we have done over here. So what we have to write? V of this label, V in. Okay, so that way we have to do. So let me correct that. And that will be here. It will be V of V out. Okay, and similarly, a dot measure gain param V out upon V in. That will be there. And then now we click on OK. And now again, if we simulate it, we are getting the graph of V out and V in. And finally, using the spice error log, we are getting the value, right? So we are getting the gain as 0.628. So we'll copy this and paste it onto the schematic. So we'll go to draft, go to comment, and then we'll paste this on the schematic. Here it is. So here are the values of the voltage gain. Okay. Okay, so this is how we have to perform the DC parameter measurement as well as your voltage gain measurement. Okay, for a source follower. Now let us verify this numbers in with calculations. Okay, so let me keep this screen like this open in front of you all, and then we will verify calculations one by one. Okay, so first let's check out the values of the DC parameters voltages. Okay, so here are the equations given for the source follower circuit, right? For the given diagram. So the voltage gain is given by RS parallel to RO1 parallel to 1 upon GMB. So GMB is coming because of the body effect, divided by RS parallel to RO1 parallel to 1 upon GMB plus 1 upon GM. Okay, so that's the formula for a source follower. The drain current, you will use this formula, half mu n Cox W by L, VGS minus VT, the whole square, into 1 plus lambda VDS. GM formula will be square root of twice mu n Cox W by L ID into 1 plus lambda VDS. And then RO, we will use the formula 1 plus lambda VDS upon lambda ID. So GMB will be calculated as GM into eta, and eta will be equal to gamma divided by twice square root of twice phi f plus VSB. And twice phi f value, you consider it to be 0.6. Okay, so let us begin with the calculations. So these are all the simulated values which we have got. Let me check it. Let me show it to you all. So KP, Kn value was already, we have decided it's 10 micro, right? Lambda 1 was 0.04. VTH value. See, VTH value has to be taken from the simulation value. It is 0.759 volt. Then next comes the VGS1. So VGS1 will be 0.948. Here it is 0.948. VDS1 will be 4.75 volt. VSB1 will be 0.252 volt. Okay, here it is. Here it is VBS, but here it will be VSB1, 0.252. Then GM1 is coming out to be 4.48. microampere per volt. GMB1 is 0.969 microampere per volt. And GDS1 value is 1.41 into 10 raised to minus 8. So RO1 is coming out to be 70.92 mega ohms. Okay. So let us begin and check out these calculations over here. So let me take this in a bigger screen. Yeah. So first calculation is involved for ID1. So ID1 is half mu n Cox W by L of 1 VGS1 minus VTH1 the whole square into 1 plus lambda 1 VDS1. So all the values are available. Plug in the values. Remember that VTH1 is not 0.7. It has increased to 0.759 because of the body effect. So please note that we have to do it for other readings in the similar manner. So ID1 is coming out to be 0.425 microamperes by calculation, and by simulation it is 0.42, right? So it's quite accurate. So 0.425 microamperes is the value of ID1. Next is GM1. GM1 is square root of twice mu n Cox W by L of 1 ID1 into 1 plus lambda 1 VDS1. So all these parameters, plug in the values in your calculator and you will get the value of GM1 as 4.497 microamperes per volt. And by simulation, we are getting around 4.48 microamperes per volt. So that is quite close. Next, we calculate RO1. So RO1 was given by the formula 1 plus lambda 1 VDS1 divided by lambda 1 ID1. So plug in all the values over here and you will get the value of RO1 as 70 mega ohms. And by simulation, we were getting 70.92, right? Year over year. Correct? So it's very close. Next, we calculate eta. So eta is given by gamma divided by twice square root of mod of twice phi plus VSB1. So VSB1 value we have noted down over here. It's 0.252. And the twice phi value we consider to be 0.6. If you plug in these values in the calculator, you will get the eta value as 0.2167 volt. It doesn't have any unit, 0.2167 eta value. So multiply this eta value with GM1, will get GMB1. So GMB1 is coming out to be 0.975 microampere per volt. And by simulation, we got it as 0.969 microampere per volt. It's coming out to be quite close. Now, since we got the value of GM1, GMB1, ID1, and RO1, we plug in the values in the gain formula, which is given by RS parallel to RO1 parallel to 1 upon GMB1. And then again this term plus 1 upon GM1. So RS is around 600 kilo ohms. Right now we have taken. RO1 we have calculated it's around 70 mega ohms. So their parallel combination will give us 594.9 kilo ohms. 1 upon GMB1 value is coming out to be 1.025 mega ohms. And RS parallel to RO1 parallel to 1 upon GM1 is coming out to be 376.43 kilo ohms. And 1 upon GM1 is coming out to be 222.37 kilo ohms. You can plug in the values and you can get these results. Now you can plug in the values in this formula. So numerator we have this, denominator we have two terms. So if you divide this, you will get in the calculator AV as 0.6286. Okay. So 0.6286 is the value by calculation. And by simulation, we are getting out to be very close to be, okay, gain is coming out to be 0.628. Okay. 0.6280. And by calculation, we are getting 0.6286. So it's very close, right? And it has, input and output are in phase with each other. That is what we have observed over here before, right? Now, since it's the gain, since it's a source follower, your gain will be slightly less than 1, right? Let me show the observation table now. So in this way, you can carry out the calculations, right? So you calculate ID1, GM1, RO1, and GMB1, and finally calculate AV and verify it with the simulation results. So you have to carry out the simulation for different values of RS like 100 kilo ohms, 150 kilo ohms, 470 kilo ohms, and 870 kilo ohms. And so the calculation for any one part, okay, not all the parts, fine. So, and also the simulation plots, any one, we have to add it, right, for any one case. And whereas you can, all the other cases, you can write the reading. So we have discussed this sample case. For sample case for 600 kilo ohms, we got V out peak to peak as 62.73 millivolt. Over here, you can see 62.723 millivolt. And gain, we got it as simulated value as 0.6280. So 0.62803. And by calculation, we got it as 0.6286. So it's coming quite close. So in this way, similarly, we have carried out the simulation for 100K, 150K, 470K, and 870 kilo ohms and fill out this table. And so the detailed calculation for any one of the value of RS. Don't include the sample calculation in your result. That will not be counted. Okay. So in this way, you can carry out the experiment on a source follower. So I hope that you will complete on time. And that's all for this lab. And kindly start your work and complete it on time. So that's it for today. Next time we'll begin with a lab number 5, AVLSI lab number 5. So until then, have a good day and thank you.